so that way y'all are aware. I'm gonna do my best to answer what I can when I can. So a little bit about Pipedream. If you aren't familiar with us, we're a legacy brand. We've been around for over 50 years. And a lot of the time people don't associate Pipedream with all the brands that we are. So if you know Icicles, Anal Fantasy, Fetish Fantasy Series, Fantasy for Her, Body Doc, King Cock, Dilio, Basics, Classics, I think you're getting the vibe here. That's all us. I think it would be a shorter list to tell you what we are not. So I have a few things that I want to show you today, including some newness. Don't get too excited. I know. But we'll start that. We'll do that one a little bit in a hot second. I want to go over really quick. I'm going to have to do this because you can't see me. My body doc. So I did wear my harness, especially for y'all, because I care. For those of us that are strap users, we know that it's usually an O-ring or a hole stitch or vacuum lock, depending on what brand you're using. And the way that we always put our dildos onto or through our harnesses is usually through said O-ring. So if you have a dildo that doesn't have a scrotum, then you would put it through the back. Or if you have one like this that has a suction cup, you would have to smush this and then kind of smush it into the front of your harness. And if you're someone who's playing, if you're the person who's waiting, you're like, the lube is getting dry. Let's get it together. And if you're the anxious person who's about to put the harness on, you're going, hold on 1 second. And it takes too long. And I don't know about you, but the 5 minutes it takes, and sometimes longer, depending, to get a dildo through a harness to then go use, it kind of takes away from the fun part of it. So we decided something that would be a lot more accessible would be the body dock. So the body dock is literally a harness with a dock on it. You can see it on my crutch right now. So all I have to do when it comes to the body dock is grab a toy that has a suction cup, either the size of or smaller than the dock itself. The one that I'm wearing is the suspenders harness. I can pop these off if I don't want to look really cute and have my suspenders. There is an original that has no suspenders at all. The one that I was showing you here is the Elite Mini, which has a silicone dock. The one that I'm wearing is an ABS plastic dock, which is my favorite. So I like to wear this one because it's shiny and you can see it a little bit better on camera. So all I have to do is 2 pushes, one just to get it on there. And then my second one is going to be a hard push because I want to make sure that there's no air bubbles coming out the side of this. So I can have this. It looks like I'm doing a lot more than I'm supposed to be doing on camera, but y'all get the vibe here. So that way it stays on there and I don't have to worry about it falling off. I did absolutely have one of the other vendors play dildo ring toss with me while wearing this. So if you missed the Nashville training, I'm so sorry. That was me at my best with a literal stage. We did get a little bit of feedback about folks saying that they were concerned because if we have a body dock, the backs of this, I'll show you the inside of it actually. You won't have the same opportunity to put a bullet in the front pocket like you would with some of the other harnesses you may have seen out there. But that's not a problem. There are 6 different kinds. Did you think I would Mr. Rogers undo my harness and change in front of y'all during this training today? I sure didn't. So what we did instead, since obviously the inside of this is going to be flat, is there are 6 different versions of this body dock. There is a G-Spot Pro option. The G-Spot Pro option has a built-in motor in the front. There is an internal option for G-Spot Play, button in the front, and a remote. Because the last thing I want to do while I'm playing is be like, hold on, baby. Click, click, click. I don't have time for that. I have a goal. I have something to accomplish here. I don't have time to be pressing buttons. There is a lap strap option. There are a couple sets that we did with the Mini. We put it with the Dilio. We put another set with King Cock. In case your customer doesn't have any dildos at home or toys at home that they would like to pop on here. I feel like when I worked in store, the first question I would always get asked by customers is like, the stuff at home, is it going to fit? And then of course they didn't bring the dildo with them, hopefully they didn't bring it with them. But maybe they point one out on the wall and you're like spending time taking things out of the packaging so you can see if it fits and make sure it's good before they go. And that just takes a little too much time. Just pop it right on there. I don't have to think anymore. This did get so popular that it did turn into a handheld thruster. You may have seen that on a Fetish Fantasy Series line. And then that did end up escalating into, I say escalate, but it's the natural way things should be. It did turn into a body dock sex machine, also in Fetish Fantasy Series. Not to brag. Okay, questions, comments, concerns about body dock so far? Simple, base, put weenie on, profit. Enjoy yourself. Cool.
So far, no questions, so you're good.
Good. I feel like a lot of it is weenie, go have fun, or put weenie in, profit.
Plug and
The
play,
next
so to
thing,
speak.
you could put a suction cup butt plug on there. Not to
There
say
you
that,
go.
listen, literal bang for your buck, people. I got you. I'm getting it together for you. So the next thing that I always ask is, how many water penis pumps do you know of? And people usually name maybe one or two brands, but they never name us, which is so unfortunate because we did update our line. This is actually maybe a year and a half, 2 years old, that these came out. PumpWorks is one of our brands. A lot of the PumpWorks pumps that you may have seen out there are very like beginner friendly. Like I think we literally have a few that are called beginners penis pump. And generally, when you have a customer that wants to try a penis pump for the first time, they may or may not have already done research. So you always say, okay, I'm going to get you a manual air one. We want to make sure that the canister's clear so you can see what's going on. Because if your weenie starts turning plaid, you know, you got to abort mission. You got to like get out of there. And then we thought about it and we were like, well, all of those air pumps, they have a hose or and then they have a bulb or a lever attached to it. And this motion isn't the most accessible, if we're being honest. You know, if I have carpal tunnel, if I have mobility issues, I can't do this with the pumps. And even the bulb ones, if you've squeezed one of the bulbs before, it's not like a balloon. It's not very easy to squish. You actually need to put some gusto into it. So hopefully your biceps are as big as mine from showing so many toys. And then the other thing we thought of is, well, if I get any liquid into the hose of the manual air pump, that's one of the few times where if it farts, you're not doing it right because it's just going, there's no air pressure. I'm not getting anywhere with that, right? So we did end up having two new ideas. This is my Max Boost from PumpWorks. This does have a patent, not to brag, but I love saying when we have a patent because I think y'all understand how difficult it is to get one. So we did get a patent on this cap. If I wanted to use this as a water pump, I absolutely can. If I just wanted to use this as an air pump, I absolutely can. This also MSRPs for less than $70. So if someone's like, I don't even know if I like pumping, I don't know if I want to try pumping because I want to try to get bigger, or if I want to try pumping because the suction feeling is really pleasant for me, I'm not sure. I don't have a ton of money to spend on it. The original Max Boost may be a good option for them. So there's only one button on here. This is not a motorized item at all. You can absolutely dunk this underwater. All you have to do is put yourself inside and then you push against yourself. This is where our patent comes in. The one button is my air release in case I pumped too close to the sun. I like to call that dickerous. And then this little like pump in the middle, if I wanted to use this nozzle in the middle, if I want to use this water, I'll fill it about 3/4 of the way with water. I'll put myself inside and I'll go ahead and do that same motion. But what it'll do is it'll take the water, it'll go up into this cap. The little piston that you saw, going to pop it up through the cap and then outside of the cap. So you just have like a cycle of water and air going at all times. So you won't lose any air or water pressure when you're playing. In case you have not sold a penis pump before, we recommend, or at least a water one, we recommend warm water, not hot and not freezing cold. We don't want things to shrink unless that's what you're into, but I don't think you'll get very far with this. A warm water is better for the elasticity of the skin. So you want something to be a little bit more comfortable when you're playing. And while this is definitely more accessible, this isn't the most accessible option. So we did make a rechargeable version. That is my Max Boost Pro Flow. That is this cutie right here.
Jack,
So
I hate to interrupt. We had one question on before you move on to the next one.
What's that?
What was the name of the last one, the water air pump?
This is my Max Boost. It is under the brand PumpWorks. PumpWorks with an X because we're cool. Very, very hot topic. Very, very hard X core. And then the second one is my Max Boost Pro Flow. Don't worry, okay. I've already asked why we can't just name things like Cindy and Carl like Maya does. It's way easier. But something SEO, so I have more words to remember. PumpWorks is the brand. Max Boost is the manual. Max Boost Pro Flow is the rechargeable one I'm going to show you in a hot second.
Perfect.
If y'all ever, I talk fast, I know. So if y'all ever need me to slow down, just bully Pete in the Q&A section and I'll go ahead and I can take it down a couple of notches, no problem.
I like it.
So if you like dinner and a show, and if you know what, I live in LA, so I always say, oh, this is going to be a light indicator that shows you about how many pounds of pressure you're using, right? And it does same thing as a stoplight where it's green light, yellow light, red light. And I always ask people, what does that mean? But I live in LA, so when I say yellow, what does that mean? Instead of slow down, everyone goes drive faster, which that's why accidents happen. So this is my Max Boost Pro Flow. I get to use this one on the road all the time, and I love it. So 3-button interface. not too crazy here. Let me move my light so that way actually you can see me a little bit. You can see my buttons a little bit better. So I have a 3-button interface here, not too crazy. It is rechargeable, the little magnet charger. This is an IPX7. So just like my original Max Boost, if I wanted to use this underwater, absolutely can. If I wanted to use this as just an air pump, I absolutely can, not an issue. I'm going to press and hold that middle button for a few seconds to turn her on. I don't know if you can see my lights. There you go. You can see my little green lights. That means she's on. If I don't touch this for about 10 seconds, it's going to turn itself off to save you some battery life. So I expect it to, there you go. That way I don't have to worry about picking this up and it's dead. My bottom button is going to be for my patterns. My top button is going to be for my intensities. Whenever I demo this, I like to start at maybe 3 or 4. My green light is going to tell me that I'm going from 0 to about 2 pounds of air pressure with this pump. Once it goes to that yellow light, which kind of looks a little orangey in this light, that's up to about 4 pounds of air pressure. And then my red, which usually means, hey, you should stop now. That's up to 6 pounds of air pressure. So if I need to stop that air for whatever reason, all I did was tap the middle button. As you can see, oh girl, she has the suck. You ever want to do cupping, but you want to do it with a penis cup instead? This might be your option. I'm just saying. Be aware that every air toy is going to cycle air through somewhere. That hole is going to be on the top of the PumpWorks Max Boost Pro Flow. So if your customer decides to play like this, they're not going to get the full intensity of air because they're covering where the air is going to be circulating through. So do keep that in mind when you're teaching your customers how to hold this. From here is good, from here is good, just here is going to block your airflow. So while the air stopped sucking, it did not release the air. So, you know, I've used her a few times with this. She's tired of this. To let her get free, I'm just going to tap that middle button again. You can hear my little air. She's releasing. She's free. She's good. Don't need her anymore. She's all right. It's okay. It's a studio. She's allowed to be tossed places. If I wanted to switch this to a manual mode, I absolutely can. I'm just going to press and hold the top and, oh, she went to sleep. Go, wake up. There we go. I'm going to press and hold the top and bottom buttons for a few seconds. Once I get that little run, then I know that my bottom button went from a pattern button to a manual, it will suck when I tell it to. This is where I usually tell people to do it to the beat of your favorite song. You know, there are a couple songs that have a consistent beat, so it's actually really good for things like CPR or even pumping. I always say use Knuck a Few Bucks. That's obviously not great for CPR, but maybe it could be fun for pumping. I'm going to press the same 2 buttons to go ahead and switch it back to my automatic mode. So now this will go back to patterns. The light show still works, whether it's in manual or automatic, it shouldn't matter. So you're good to go in that instance. Ooh, this is a little silicone bit. And sometimes when I put it on body forms, the body forms all have that cornstarch powder on them because they're phantom flesh. So I got a little bit of cornstarch powder on here. My bad, but she's cute. Questions, comments, concerns about my pump? Totally in profit, water or air, not an issue. And a little cheaper too. The ProFlow MSRPs for about $120. So it is like double the price, but you also have a motor in it and it does it for you. You don't have to think too hard. Again, the blood's not going to be here. Let's let the toy do what it needs to do for us. Okay, next we'll talk about wet pussies. Big fan. Big fan. So we're not the first brand to do a self-lubricating, what we affectionately like to refer to as the suck-in trucks. Truck stop stores, you see the packaging for this in the parking lot a lot. I'm sorry, but they're so popular. And the MSRP for like $22. This is very inexpensive. We did do something different though when it comes to how we made our little strokers here. So there are different skin tone options and there are 3 different labia options. I'm showing you the slippery slit right now. All you need is one. I put like 1 finger of water in there and I pop it in there. Most brands will bake their sleeves and then take the emulsified powder that the lubricant starts as and then just throw this on top. The thing that we did slightly different is that before we baked the actual sleeve, we put that emulsified lubricant powder on it and baked it all together. So you get a little bit more use out of these. Every single wet pussy, wet stroke, or wet pussy, anything from the wet pussies line is going to be able to be used 25 to 30 times. So we say up to 25, 30 uses, because obviously depending on how you clean your toys and how well you clean your toys, that could also count as a use. If you're taking a hose and you're putting it inside of your self-lubricating toy, you are going to wash away some of that powder, so that will take away some uses. Then I would say 25. But if you're someone who likes to do a pat dry, something simple, you could definitely get up to 30 uses. We also thought, maybe not everybody wants a vulva, perfectly fine. There are neutral donut options, and you'll even see the marketing reflect. It'll say wet stroker instead of a wet pussy. Stroker's just sometimes a little bit easier. You don't have to think about, oh, I need a mouth version. Oh, I need a butt version. Oh, I need a vulva version. Oh, I need this 20 different kinds of vulva because not everything looks the same. Neutral donut. Let your customer impress upon the toy whatever fetish they need to. It's none of your business, right? Now, of course, the feedback that we also got with this one was, it's so little and my wiener, it's so big. I'm not going to fit in this. I need something gigantic. We went, okay, no problem. That's fine. So we did make the super wet pussies. We also later added the super wet bussy. You're welcome for the bussy word. I gave you that. I'm going to tell everybody that I did that till I die because I'm pleased. Usually if I mention how I'm training about something, I compare it to something else. The creative team is like, and that's why we don't ask you to name toys, except they did let me name wet bussy. So the only difference is that these are going to be in canisters. They also have the sticker on the back that you can remove or you can leave on depending on what you want your airflow to be like. If I want it to feel tighter, I'll leave this covered because as you can hear, it sounds a little bit looser. But if I peel this back and I want it to feel a little bit looser, then I get some more airflow. These are all Fantaflesh from all lines, whether it's the wet strokers, the wet bussies, the wet pussies, they're all Fantaflesh. They're very cute, aren't they? 2 holes in the back of each sleeve. The middle one is for that airflow that I was talking about in the canister. The side hole over here is if you wanted to make this vibrate, you can pop in your favorite bullet. I did get asked a couple times, people were concerned with the sound of the bullet in here. It would sound rattly inside the canister. It doesn't. I tried 5 different bullets from 5 different lines. You know, we have plenty of bullets for me to try. They don't rattle at all. You can tell that something is vibrating for sure, but it's not going to rattle in a way that is going to take you out of the moment. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. I highly recommend that if you do put a bullet in one of these sleeves, though, make sure it has a remote. Jimmy Jane has the mini chroma. That one's one of my favorites because of the little 1-button remote. Because the last thing you want to do while you're playing is take it out, click, 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 find the remote, pop it back in. Who has time for that? And who has brain cells for that at this point? If you're using this correctly, you're not thinking about anything but this. So, of course, the feedback after coming out with this size and the wet pussies and now the wet bussy, also multiple skin tones available for this. People said, once again, my wiener, it was so big. And I always say, I don't know if it's the hormones of the chicken or what's happening exactly, but apparently everybody's penis is monstrous. Congratulations to everyone in the world. So we said, okay, fine. I guess we're going to have to make an XL. You know, just had to, because you can see the size difference on this. She's dummy thick. I always say that the sleeve on this one is my fat pum pum gel. Anybody else Caribbean? My fati pum pum gel. It's the same jazz. It's still Fantaflesh, even though it's clear. Don't be worried about it. There's still texture on the inside. You still have the same 2 holes. So if you have your airflow, and then you also have your side hole if you want to put a bullet in there. But this sleeve, I know she's clear, so you're like, is that see-through? But if you don't fit in here, honey, you might need to be in a Guinness Book of World Records because I feel like this is going to work. I feel like this is me in TSA. It's like, don't stop me because I have 3 or more dildos in my carry-on. Okay. Also 25 to 30 uses. Doesn't matter the size. You may even see the flippers. We have a super flip a pussy over. That's a dual-ended version of the wet pussies. Also 25 to 30 uses either side. So you've got options. If you're like us and on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, you're just like, you know what, I really want to make love that to something that's like shaped kind of like a shake weight. You know, we're your guys. There we go. Let me pop this one back. Wet pussies, wet strokers. Any questions so far? That one's pretty self-explanatory. Put a little bit of water, it self-lubricate, profit.
Deborah had a couple statements. They were from older stuff. Deborah just said she loves all of the in-depth training and the knowledge. And then followed up with, this is from the pumps. Oh, wow. Never thought it was dual purpose for cupping. And she loves that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've absolutely done a little suction on my back. I'm like, you want to do a little something? It's not going to be as strong as if you actually did cupping, but hey, dual purpose. You got to make it work. All right, let's go over some PDX Elite really quick. I love these. You may be familiar with this boy. This is one of my favorites. We did win an award for this at the top of, actually this year. Oh my God, I don't know what year it is. We did win an award. This is my Fuck-O-Matic 2. She's here as a jumping off piece. She sells out a lot, so don't get too excited, okay? What we love about this, and PDX Elite in general, are my motorized penis strokers, right? They're mostly they're all motorized, but they're mostly penis oriented in PDX Elite, right? So the difference between this and a lot of the other strokers you may have seen out there, and the reason we won that award was because we have something called IST in our PDX Elite, in the what we call them the orgasm family. I love that that's my job. It's the orgasm family. So rather than just a suction toy, right? The suction toy would just suck in. You also see other air toys that maybe blow out air. This one is like a robot Kegel. It sucks in and pushes out. So the way that I love to demo this one, if you don't have a tester, please get one because this is fantastic to show. I'll tell people, hey, you want to see the weirdest Dairy Queen blizzard you've ever seen in your life? Because if you've ever been to Dairy Queen and you've gotten a blizzard, the way they serve it to you is like that to show you how dummy sick it is. You do have a silicone ball cradle in this. All of this is going to be an ABS, but this is going to be a silicone ball cradle. On the Fuck-O-Matic 2, your vibrator is a tapper because you can't forget the balls. You know, Arby's loves the meats, has the meats. Pipedream loves the balls. We can't forget them. The sleeve is also Fantaflesh. It's going to be the same as what you saw in the wet pussies, but not self-lubricating. This is what I like to call the umbilical cord. You see why creative doesn't let me in the room? Somebody likes that's an umbilical cord. Come on. Sleeve is Fantaflesh, really easy to use. I just have my one hole in the back, so that way I can go ahead and put my vibrator back in there, my little motor back in there when I'm done cleaning this up. You can pat dry these. Anything made out of the Fantaflesh, you are welcome to use cornstarch powder to store. Anything that is made that is just a TPE or a TPR, we don't recommend that you use that cornstarch powder, but water-based lubricant for all. There's not too much happening inside this canister either. It looks like a black hole of nothing because there really is not much in there because we wanted to make it harder for your customer to accidentally break it. I don't doubt that they will find a way. I'm so used to customers coming out with like the most wild, like my dog grabbed it and then threw it across the football field and now it doesn't work. Can I get my money back? I'm like, can you tell my career started in retail? Between the phone calls alone, I feel like I'm haunted forever. You do have 7 different vibration and suction modes on the Fuck-O-Matic 2. You can see in the 3-button interface, there's an S and a V for suction and vibration. I always love to ask people, what does S stand for? What does V stand for? And almost every single training, when people can see me and talk back to me, or when I can see them and talk back to me, because here I'm just talking to myself, which we also love. Usually somebody says V stands for vagina. I went really close, but not quite. So can you guess what the feedback was for this? Big surprise. It's actually 2 pieces of feedback. One of them was that there's no LED, which is fair. That's actually a very fair point. If there's no LED, I don't remember what mode I was on when I was using it. Like if I found a suction mode, maybe suction mode 3 was the one that I really liked, but it had to be paired with vibration mode 1. If I'm using it, the blood's not here. So you think I'm going to remember if I have no way of indicating? I'm just clicking, trying to find the right, that is absolutely a fair bit of feedback. So when we did make newer versions, we did add an LED. These end up looking a little bit like glass. So you can see that I have my battery life. And now you can also see the one I'm holding is my fuckgasm. I can see it's not a decimal. I'm not going to make you do math, I swear. But I can see my modes. So I can see what vibration mode and what suction mode I was on that I was enjoying. And then, of course, the obvious, the other part of the feedback was my wiener. My wiener is so big. I'm like, fine. We made it XLs. How many XLs do I have to make you people before you stop eating so many hormones that your weenie is so gigantic? I'm sure it's the hormones in the chicken. It's something. But this is my regular size. This is my XL. The XLs do come in the original Fuck-O-Matic vulva options. There are 2 skin tones as well. I have the Fuck-O-Matic Pro option, so that way if you just want a neutral donut, that is there for you. These work exactly the same as the Fuck-O-Matics. They're just larger. They're 50% wider and they're 50% longer. There is a slight difference with the ball cradle. The ball cradle is similar to the original Fuck-O-Matic, not the Fuck-O-Matic 2. The Fuck-O-Matic 2 has that tapper that I was showing you. The Fuck-O-Matic 1 just has a motor. So you'll see like this little lipping here. This will vibrate when you're playing with it. So I know this looks like glass. We put an LED on this. Make my life a little bit better. Oh, wake up. There we go. She has a travel lock as well. So it ends up looking like glass, or like a helmet, depending on how you want to say. But she does still have an LED. I can see my battery life. I can see what suction mode I'm on, which vibration mode I'm on. And don't worry, I will do the Dairy Queen Blizzard for you. I just like to do it with the smaller version. The XLs are simply called Fuck-O-Matic or Fap-O-Matic Pros with the XXL on it. We did decide, my suitcase is so happy for this, we did decide to do a smaller travel size version as well. The Fuckgasms and the Fatgasms. So that's what's in my hand now. I travel a lot. If I'm two pounds over the check limit, I'm not paying $150. And those things take up a lot of space. So my fucking Fatgasms, I think, are a better option. There's no ball cradle, but you still have the same 5 vibration modes, 5 suction modes. You still have the LED. I can still recharge it. It's still a Fanta Flesh sleeve. I've still got all the cute things going. I always say with these, like, if it farts, you're doing it right. So I like to demo this one a little bit with some lube and a little weenies. And if you do have a demo of this or testers in your stores for whatever reason, I highly recommend you showing this, because I've yet to show this to somebody with a penis who didn't at least go, and if I can get I feel like I can get a sale. Just be aware of which mode you put it on when you're doing the demo, because in my experience, sometimes I've put it, this might happen here, this is why I'm saying it now. Usually, if it's a relaxed environment and I put it on the right mode, it will, from 1 to 5, it will slowly move, so that way it is sucking a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. It'll start as like a tip teaser, and then it'll suck in the dildo a little bit more, suck in the dildo a little bit more. Sometimes I put it too high, and then when it pushes it out, because mind you, the IST means that it does also push it out. Sometimes it pushes it out so hard that it has hit me in the face. Do I get workers' comp for that? Do I get workers' comp for being hit in the face with a dildo? Or is that just like part of the thing? So as you can see, we're gonna push. She's gonna push, suck all the way in to the balls. Ooh, and then pushing it out. Listen, not only are you hungry thinking about Dairy Queen, but hopefully y'all have some ideas. Ooh, hands-free. Prop this on some pillows. You really don't. Who needs Hinge? Delete Hinge. It's meant to be deleted anyway. You don't need friends. There you go. You've got a fuck-o-matic. You've got an XL. You got a fuckgasm. Oh, do we have a question?
We do, and it's a pretty good question here.
Yeah.
Belinda Massey is asking, I hope I pronounced that right.
Ooh.
Will a normal size penis still get the same benefits and effects from the XL, or do they need those mega chicken hormones making their wiener oversized to make it worth it? For the penis owners who believe they're XL and maybe just normal and lovable.
I love the way that was phrased. I mean, normal is subjective, right? But if we're thinking like average, the average penis in the US is like 5.5 inches. At least the last study I saw. They will absolutely fit in the XL. They will. I believe that if you want to use a toy to its maximum potential, you want to get one that's sized for you properly, because you want to fill the sides of it, right? I feel like if someone who's 5.5 inches, ooh, my dildo fell. Not my looby dildo. I feel like if somebody who's 5.5 inches tries to use this, 1, I feel like the ball cradle is going to get in the way. And then 2, there's going to be pretty much all of this space, because this thing goes deep. About this much space is they're not going to have fun with. So even though the toy will work, I don't feel like it's going to be as good of an experience. Now, you can encourage them to get one that's sized a little bit more appropriately. I've made this joke with the wet pussies as well, because can you imagine seeing all the size options and going, I need the smallest one? Like loudly, like, I need the smallest one for my micro penis. And you know what? There's no shame in a micro penis. I recommend that people get one that's sized appropriately. But this is not to say that if somebody got an XXL that they wouldn't be able to use it. They would. I just don't think it would be as good. That's a really good question. Because I know you're gonna get that at some point.
For sure. One more question. Star Poor is asking, what's the MSRP on the XL and the travel size?
Pete, do you have it?
I can pull it up on the website and link it.
Can you please? I always forget. There's some things I remember and there's some things I don't. If you've done one of my trainings before, I always say as housekeeping, 1, I can't hear out of 1 ear, and 2, I have goldfish memory. It's about 3 seconds and then it's like, huh? What were we just talking about? In fact, I don't even know where I am right now. Isn't that crazy? I'm in a liminal space. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get Pete to get you guys pricing. I apologize. I'll start memorizing it at some point. We have newness every quarter, and my whole job is to memorize this. And then when it came to numbers, I was like, you guys, I failed math like 3 times in college. Don't do that to me. I'm dyscalculia. I mix up the numbers. Don't do that to me. I do remember that the fuckasms are $20 cheaper than the XLs, though. So, if you want a less expensive option, might be something for your customer. Okay.
Real quick, we have more questions. Are there Belinda's asking, are there actual sizing listed on the toys or in our specs, such as best fit for up to 7 inches?
In your sell sheets, there should be information about it. It will give you an idea of what will fit somebody best. And also, the boxes for PDX Elite, every single one, doesn't even have to be the orgasm family. They all have QR codes on the boxes. So for whatever reason, let's say you can't remember my wonderful training. That's fine. Or if you just maybe you have a customer that needs to be taken care of at the register, but you have another customer at the wall, you can always have the customer put their phone on the QR code. It'll take them to our Vimeo page, and that'll show them what the product does. It makes your life a little bit easier. I know staffing has been kind of difficult too. So if that's an option, or if you're in the back room, you need it a little like once over, that's an option for you.
I posted a link for the items in the chat, so you can click on there and get all the info you need.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's
No
leaving me
problem.
behind. I apologize.
You're
Okay, I have
good.
more weenies to show you and even less time because I talk too much. Sorry. So you remember hollow strap-ons, right? And we have had hollow straps forever. Hollow straps are generally for folks that have inconsistent erections. If you have a penis and you still want to penetrate your partner, but you have some kind of ED, maybe you want to grab a hollow strap because you just put yourself inside of it and then you can still play. Or let's say you just want to be longer or wider for whatever reason. That's what a hollow strap would be for. Now, we did come out with something different and fun and new. And actually, you can see my line of weenies right here. We took the Fantasy Extensions line and we extended it. I think I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to get you guys. And it's early for me. I don't know if it's early for you, but I'm getting you. So basically, the King Cock Elite line, those are our dildos that are made out of silicone. And the other hollow straps that we've had out were made out of a TPE, just TPE. And some of the other brands that I've seen when I was in retail were made out of TPR or whatever. Some of the skin tones too. I don't know if you can tell in this, but I'm brown. Surprise. The skin tones, I would like pull out a brown one and it would look kind of green or it would look kind of gray. And I don't know about y'all, but if my weenie is ashy, I'm not going to get very far. So we decided to take that silicone King Cock Elite line and hollow them out. No one believes me that these are not dildos when I show them on a Zoom training. So I'm like, no, I swear these are hollow. These are not dildos. These are hollowed out dildos. These are so squishy and soft. I love. One of the things I really appreciate about them is, the tip of the hollow strap has to be solid in order for you to penetrate a person. And you usually will see in Fantasy Extension line or even other extenders in general that they kind of get kind of bulbous. Like this ends up looking like an empty, honestly, it looks like a pop balloon or a used condom. It's bad. It looks like a sad sock. But these are a lot more solid. They have a lot more give to them. And the tip here is squishy. It's soft. It really warms up to body heat very easily. We did do a 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 inch. We just extended the extender line with the 5 and the 9. We did add that. There are 2 skin tones for each, and as you can see, they actually look like a human being. Yay! I did have a couple folks say that they were coming up with ideas for how to use these beyond a hollow strap. Each one is going to come with a harness that goes up to 53 inches. Each one, except for the 9, is going to have 2 O-rings. Of different sizes in case you want a tighter fit or looser fit. The 9 only has 1 O-ring because it needs the larger one because it is the largest one in the line. So that's the only reason why. The 5 in particular, if you've done one of my trainings, I think 2025 is the year of TDIC. If you don't know what TDIC is, it is also known as bottom growth. If you have transgender customers and they're assigned female at birth, that they start hormone replacement therapy, also known as HRT. If you take testosterone, it makes your clitoris bigger. Surprise. And it's a good, happy, fun time. It means more money for us in this industry because testosterone makes you crazy in like a really bonerific way. So people have been taking the small 5 inch. This is not a suction cup. Let me just reiterate that this is not a suction cup. So it isn't a strong hold, but it will stay. There is a little bit of something that will make it stay. So if I some folks were putting Tanga eggs in the inside, just like popping a Tanga egg, and then they were able to play with themselves while also playing with this. So options, in case you can't find a dildo of an appropriate size for you, or you think maybe this might be a little bit softer and more interesting to use, that's an option. So these are the Fantasy Extensions Elite line. Elite explicitly because they are made out of silicone, to balance up the King Cock Elite line as well, because we basically hollowed those out. The wonderful vulvas that y'all saw over here, these just came out for Q3 of this year, and they are now in stock. Everything I'm showing you is in stock. I didn't want to show you anything that I didn't have for you to actually order, but I'm excited that I get to show you newness. So more patents. These are our pounders, and as you can see, they're not that big. This one is the biggest one. This is my double pounder. This is my original pussy pounder. This one's 4 pounds. This is nothing. Like, we're good here. We do have a patent on these. So body forms are fun. Well, you know that we're known for our body forms. The way that this works is there's 2 skin tones as well that are in existence, just so you know. The original pussy pounder has 1 orifice. There's a vulva here. And on the sides here, the thing that you're thinking, what on earth, you put your hand inside. You can do both. You can do one, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to put my hand in one side. I'm going to try to show you through the other side. So there's a core here in the middle, right? So if I were to put my penis inside here, I'm going to get texture and it's going to go straight into this inside core, right? And then I'll go ahead and stick my hand in and I can go ahead and squeeze myself however I want while I play. So if you've ever, thought, you remember those Hulk cams, the Hulk smash? We made it sexy. You can't go wrong. It's like your inner child, but it's your inner preteen, horny teenage boy child. This is what we're up to here over at Pipedream. We wanted to make sure this is good for lefties or righties, so that's why you have a hole on either side. The original one, it only has enough space for maybe one hand to begin with anyway, and then you have a little bit of a hole so that way you can clean up when you are good to go. The double pounder, the only difference is that there are two orifices for you to play with. So there is a butthole and there is a vulva. The double pounder also comes with an IPX6 bullet that is rechargeable. It does also have a remote. So if you did want to make this vibrate while you were playing, you could put this in the butt while you had your hands in this middle part. We call this our squeeze core. There is a patent on the squeeze core. We already have our Australian and our US patent. Last I heard, we were waiting on the EU and Japanese patent, but I'm sure that's already gone through by now. So if you've ever really been like, I'm really in love with Hulk hands, I really want to make love to some Hulk hands, this may have been the way to go. You got two holes here so that way you can clean your two holes. Isn't that too bad, right? I can't wait to go through TSA with this. They're going to be like, you good? I'm probably on a list somewhere at this point. So if you thought, okay, well, I love that, but I need something that's a little bit more discreet, no problem. I got you. We have stuff for that. So here at Pipedream, sometimes on a Tuesday afternoon, we go, you know what do I really want to make love to? I want to make love to a shampoo bottle. That's fine. If you have a store near a college campus or a military base, it's contraband to have sex toys on a military base. So if you wanted to hide that, we literally worked with a manufacturer that makes shampoo bottles. And I was like, is it Tresemme? Because I don't know, but it looks very much like it. You can just unscrew the bottom and then you have a Fanta Flesh sleeve looking very similar to the wet push. These, but not self-lubricating. These are not self-lubricating. I can go ahead and play however I want. You have the same two little holes, one for the airflow, one for a bullet if I really wanted it to. There's no motor in here. It's not crazy by any means. You've got different labia options and different skin tone options. And this bottle top really is a shampoo bottle top. If I want more airflow, I'm going to leave it open. If I want less airflow, I'm going to close it up. And there is a second cap that comes with this. If I wanted to put this on a wall, or if I wanted to put this on a thruster, this is an option for you. You can just go ahead and stick it on the wall. I always tell folks, like, put this on the body dock thruster and then put it under the table. And you're like, oh, now I know why everybody's smiling during their Zoom meeting. If you do it, I didn't tell you to do it, okay? But it's an option. Don't do it during work. And then, of course, because that did so well, we did two options that were shampoo, and then we did one option, the deep cream, that is a body wash. The deep cream also is a frosted donut. So if you don't want a vulva, there is a frosted donut option as well. And the reason that we came out with a body wash option is because we had two people on staff who were bald, like big bald, and we thought, it's gonna look weird if you have shampoo in your shower. That's less discreet, less subtle. So now there's a body wash option. And then that same year, the Stanleys got really popular. And we thought, we should have sex with that. So we did come out with the fucking the fat blast. I wanted to show you the camo version in particular because I know it looks like I'm holding nothing because basically it's invisible. This is mainly for the military basers. We thought, okay, support the troops. We need to have a camo version. This is what the neutral donut's going to look like on the shower therapy and on the fucking fat flasks, just so you're aware. Also made out of Fanta Flesh, even though it's clear. There's no wall mount for the fuck blast options, but you still have the same straw, so that way you can play with your airflow. And this is incredibly easy for you to hold, to walk around in. I've walked around an airport with this in my backpack. People had no clue what it was. I did get asked, this is no shade at all, but as soon as we got these, I went on the road, showed them to a staff member in store, and they immediately asked me if their partner were to finish in here, if they would be able to use the straw to drink it. And baby, I'm not here to yuck your yum. Congratulations on knowing what you like. Frankly, yes. If you want to get your protein shake that way, absolutely, you do that. You do that. If you were to suck here, this actually looks like it's doing a little bit of a Kegel. But just keep in mind, though, that this is This is plastic. So if you actually do put a liquid in here, a non-protein shake, I'm going to call it an organic protein shake, a non-organic protein shake option, it's not going to keep anything hot or cold because it's not a thermos. It's a sex toy. So just keep that in mind. There are different color options. I feel like the camo is the coolest one, and also the camo is in stock. But if you need a black or a blue, there are different options for that as well. Questions about discrete strokers or pounders? Pretty simple. Open up.
Deborah just said that she can't imagine the laughter at TSA. And I got to say that that last segment may have been my favorite segment of all training so far. The organic protein shake killed
Organic
me.
protein shake?
That
Yeah,
killed
but
me right there.
lightly blended because it's thick. You're
Naturally
welcome.
mixed.
Ooh. Okay, hold on, P. You and me, marketing meeting. Here we go. We gotta
Let's
get
do
together.
this.
Okay, let me go over my last few things. I'm running out of time here. I talk too much. I can't help it. I just like these. Okay, we'll go over really quickly some fantasy for her and some fetish fantasy series. There's a little bit of a duplicate. We came out in one quarter with 3 different thrusters. And I like to call them, you know how retailers, you do your like good, better, best. Because I now work for one company, I do beginner, intermediate, and expert. Aha. Well, because of things that just came out in the last I've been with Pipe 2 years now, but I've been in industry for 8, 9. I'm older than I look, you know, I'm like wine. So we came out with 3 different thrusters, and I definitely put them in a beginner, intermediate, and expert option, like just because you need to have something for everybody. So the beginner option would actually be in fantasy for her, although you will see a double of this one in fetish fantasy series. Let me show you this one. This is my supersonic thruster. The one in fantasy for her is going to be this purple. It doesn't look realistic at all. The only difference between the two is going to be how they look. So this one in fetish fantasy series is going to be black. It also has veins, and the head looks more like the head of a penis. It's just slightly more realistic to fit the brand. If you have a boutique or a parish or a county that's a little bit more strict about what you can put in the front or whatever it might be, then maybe the fantasy for her option might be better. It is a simple thruster. You have 3 motors in here, 3-button interface. You have 7 different thrusting options. You have 10 different vibration modes, and there's multiple motors in here. So we've tried to put the buttons in order of what it's going to control. So my top button, press and hold for a few seconds, that's going to be for the motor on the G-spot option. My middle button, press and hold for a few seconds, that's going to be for the actual thrusting here. And then my bottom button, press and hold for a few seconds, that's going to be for the external bit here. Now, I like to call the external bit the octopus mouth. You see, creative is literally on the other side of this wall. I'm sure they're listening to me and going, stop calling it that now. But you know what? You're going to remember it. So if you can see that there's silicone. They're like these little silicone bits on the inside, and they look a little bit like an octopus mouth to me, which is why I always say that. When I press and hold for a few seconds, I can go through the functions, and I always like to tell folks to put their thumb on it. Don't be scared of it. I was scared of it at first, but it's basically a merry-go-round around the clitoris. It's very soft. And what I like about this in particular is rabbits are difficult to sell because the first thing a person looks at a rabbit is like, does my anatomy fit with that? Is the external bit going to be on me and have pressure while the G-spot part is it? You've got options here. This thing bends really, really openly. You've got options. And if this seems like too much for you to start with, no problem. You can isolate which part of this you're using when you want to use it. There's no wall mount for this. It's a handheld. You can put this in a Liberator if you want. I know they make some options for a wand. It fits in there just fine. And you can put this in between pillows, whatever floats your boat. If you don't know if you even like thrusters to begin with, this could be a really good option for you. The intermediate option is actually in Jimmy Jane. No booing and hissing. Jimmy Jane's way better now. It's super cool, okay? Those little like bottom charger things that were like a little mount and you're doing this trying to make it work, that's gone. It's all magnet chargers now. Actually, this one's a USB-C. This is my Hello Bang from Jimmy Jane. Now, the first thing everybody asks is, do I put it inside myself like that? No. Oh my God. This is plastic. It's a cover. It's supposed to look cute and discreet. And also pointy, please. What? Like, I get being confused, but also in person when people touch this, I'm like, why would you want that inside you? It's a little cap. Surprise. Now it's silicone and soft and a happy time. This, no. This, yes. Oh, goodness. Y'all are scaring me. When I'm on the road, sometimes the things that I'm at, I'm like, y'all are scaring me. So this does come with a wall mount. You can actually unscrew this if you don't want a wall mount, not a problem. I have a 2-button interface. It's not too crazy. What's cool about this, do y'all remember those, they're, what are they called? They're these little massage guns. This has the same motor as a massage gun. So this thruster is my intermediate because this thruster can do 700 thrusts per minute. Not to brag or anything. The second button down here is for a motor. There is vibration throughout this, and there's a warming function. So if I want to double tap that thruster, that in about 2-3 minutes, the tip of this is going to be 102 degrees. Listen, I can only do as well as I do. Sorry, we're perfect. I'm so perfect coming out with new things. I always tell folks, stick this on a body dock. Hands-free, baby. This may be also one of those that you go, hey, during the Zoom meeting, stick it under the table. But if anybody asks, I didn't tell you to do that. Remember, come on, we're on the same team here. And because you have the little case, because this is an extension of the Hello line in Jimmy Jane, nobody has to know what it is. I know the rent's too damn high. Everybody has a roommate. Everybody has kids. Everybody has family that they live with, a spouse, whatever it is. They don't need to know. If y'all were confused at first and thought this needed to go inside you, imagine somebody else in your house and not gonna have a clue. Now, the expert version of the thrusters actually is back in Fetish Fantasy series. This is my pogo thruster. Now, you may have seen a gyro thruster before. This is what I like to call the bounce on it crazy style. If you're on TikTok and you've seen that Nosferatu sound where it's like bounce on it crazy style. This thruster is that. One, because this accordion doesn't move up and down in like that robotic function that you may see in other thrusters. This is one you literally push down on. And we did do something slightly different here. A lot of the buttons on gyro thrusters were on the bulb here. And over time, as you're pressing down on the silicone, the buttons would migrate or they would dip inside of the actual silicone, and then we wouldn't be able to use it. So we did move the buttons up to the shaft here. I have 2 buttons. I'm going to wait to turn this on for a second because it is insane. You do have an external bit with some texture. There's a motor here. There's a motor in here. This is my gyro motor. And I can control each one with either button, right? With each button. This top one's going to be for this. This bottom one's going to be for my gyro motor. I love to stick this on my suitcase and then let it rip because it looks like my suitcase has somebody inside. Reason number 265, why TSA definitely has me on a list somewhere. So I'm going to press and hold this for a few seconds. That's why I didn't want to turn it on just yet, because I'm getting a workout already. So this is what I mean by this is my expert. I know you're going to have customers that are going to look at the thrusters and they're going to say, okay, well, I know that they're marketed for G-spot. Can I use this anally? And generally, I would say if you go at a slow enough speed and, there's a base or a stem big enough that it's not going to migrate, you could use something anally. This is the lowest speed. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not going to say that it's not possible because I know a wonderful amount of very bossy bottoms that are in existence to look at this and they laugh in the face of danger. But I would stick to the whole G-spot thing here if you could. I mean, I feel like this could be a fun little perennial moment if you really wanted to get with it because, literal bang for your buck, folks. But I think you can see how much my arm is moving. So if I have really big biceps the next time you see me, it's because I've been demoing this toy. So let's just stick this on a wall and show it up. And then my last thing, also from Jimmy Jane. Oh no, wait, I want to do my fantasy for her. We'll do fantasy for her. I have my Her Ultimate Pleasures. If you remember this toy, yes. She's still one of our best sellers. We did get a little bit of feedback. This is the original Her Ultimate Pleasure. Folks were saying like, oh, we love the suction. We love that the tongue moves back and forth and vibrates. That'll be a staple for any of the Her Ultimate Pleasures. There are technically 4. We call them HUPs for short. There are technically 4 in existence now. So people were saying, oh yeah, I really want to use the suction and the G-spot option at the same time because this is all silicone. This is an internal vibrator. You've got 10 different vibrating modes on this one, and you've got 7 different suction patterns. Each one comes with the little cups on it. You've got a round cup if you wanted to put it on the scrotum or the nipples. But if you wanted to put it on the vulva, we do have an oval one that comes with it. So we thought, okay, well, we need to make another version where you can do both at the same time. No problem. We did that. That's where the Her Ultimate Pleasure Pro came from. And then people said, oh my God, we love this. This is fantastic. I'm a little scared of how much bigger this looks in comparison. It's not much bigger, I promise. This is maybe the Pro is maybe just a little bit wider, but the toy itself is not any bigger. People went, okay, we love this, but I really want my partner to be a part of it. No problem. That's when we came out with the Max. This is the Max. Hello. This is a silicone hose, so I don't have to worry about any of this getting kinked up. My airflow is never going to cease because of my hose. be aware that, remember, air toys, the air needs to circulate. So the hole for that will be back here. So if your customer is holding it like this and trying to play, they're not going to get the full experience of their air toy. So make sure they move their hands so that way they're not covering that. I always have people hold it this way when they're showing how to use these, because the backs of these boxes, which is the easiest way to train somebody on something in a store, will show it to you that way. So I always do top to bottom this way. And it's in order of what it's going to control. So my bottom button is going to control the 10 different vibration options for my G-spot option. So I can like bing bong with my partner. I can bing bong with my partner. I can have one partner hold this while I play with this on them. Like, listen, I'm trying to get your anniversary party to be crazy, y'all. There is my little tongues. The tongues on these will always move back and forth and vibrate, a staple of the Her Ultimate Pleasures. There is my air release button in case I, again, suctioned a little too close to the sun and I need to get out. And then also my suction button, which let me see if I can get this to show on camera, because sometimes it's so subtle it does not quite. Maybe I can do it with a smaller one. Let's see if it will let me. There we go. My little suction, honey. Oh, we're using my new pounder for it. So as you can see, the suction will bring it up to the tongue. So that way your clitoris, or wherever you want to put this, will be even closer to where that tongue vibration is, and I can have that little back and forth. So the fourth version of this, I'm not showing because it's out of stock, but it is in existence. It's the Ultimate Pleasure Pro. We basically took all of it and put it in one go. So, I mean, I don't have a lot of time to go over it, but look it up, folks. Okay, my last toy. I promise this is the last thing because I'm right at the wire when it comes to training. I talk too much. This is my Touch Me Pro in Jimmy Jane. So if you like $2 words like me and you really like the PDX Elite IST stands for intermittent suction technology. We have something on here called stereophonic percussion therapy. Stereophonic percussion therapy. Say that 5 times fast. What it is my G-spot stem on either end. There are these tappers. So 3-button interface, all in order of what they control. I love that the external bit kind of looks like a 3D model of a clitoris. It's kind of fun. When I press and hold my top button, my 2 little tappers here are going to be going off. So literally, it's a treble-based moment on either end of these. So your G-spot is literally getting a party. If you ever wanted to go into a mosh pit, if you ever see that clip of Lady Gaga, she's doing rehearsals and she says, guys, I need you to, the bass, we need to do something about the sound here because I'm standing here and I feel like I'm going to orgasm. Thank Lady Gaga. Middle button is going to be for my tapper. My external stem is a tapper. It will come hither moment. Again, the rabbit is a little bit more open here, so that way it fits more body types. And then my bottom button is actually going to be for a motor that's controlled that goes up through these little arms right here. So if you're someone who's not sure, or maybe a little bit slower to penetration, maybe you need some shallow penetration to start and you need to warm yourself up. Some folks will take their labia majora, the outer labia, and they'll hold it open when they're playing with themselves. These little arms with the vibration are really good deep. They're low frequency rumble, so they get deep into that muscle tissue. So it's almost the same as holding yourself out without having to do that. And then you have something that's a little bit less, again, you can control each one individually. You can isolate it if you want to. So if this becomes, you warm yourself up with this, you're like, okay, now I can do the next thing. Now you have that tapper, something that isn't directly on you all the time because you have kind of a 360 over here. And then as you warm yourself up, you're like, actually, maybe we can turn on the stereophonic percussion therapy here. And once again, this is called the Touch Me Pro in Jimmy Jane. This is an IPX7 as well. So if you want to dunk this underwater, by all means, enjoy yourself. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, compliments. Just tell me I'm pretty in the chat. Like that works for me too.
Deborah said, love the tongue from when you were showing that item. And then Jolene Menard says, too close to the sun. She's stealing that.
Dickerous.
And now LaWanda Johnson says, you are so pretty.
Ooh,
and then
thank you.
Deborah Wright says, you are so pretty, Jack.
Thank you.
And then Beth Menzel says, love that energy as always. Jolene says, super pretty. Nikki says, you are so pretty. So there you go.
Yes, apparently I'm very pretty. I also accept handsome, bodacious. There are others, but positive words. Like, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
And Jeremy Calderon says, love the training, very informative, which is also a great compliment. Deborah, I was waiting to address the other past trainings till the end. I didn't want to interrupt Jack in their presentation. So we do record all of these. or when I remember to hit the record button. I'll be honest, I forget sometimes.
You did this time.
Yes, I did this time. So email marketing@ecn.com if you have a list of vendors that you want to get. Let me know. If not, someone on my team can go ahead and send you what we have available to you. But yeah, we do have them available. So please feel free to hit me up, and I'll see about potentially uploading some of these to our ECN YouTube channel so that you can just access
Ooh.
them there. The email is marketing@ecn.com. That'll go to me and my entire team. So one of us will address it within 24 hours usually. No problem. And Lawanda says, hi on love. Love this. Thanks. All
Ooh.
right, Jack, as always, you did a phenomenal job with the trainings, very entertaining,
Thank
and
you.
took me out a few times with some of the
That's the goal.
hilarious stuff, which I do appreciate. As always, to the retail partners, thank you so much for your continued support and joining us on these monthly SexEDU trainings. Next month, we do have another one coming up. Let me pull it up and I will let you know what that one is real quick. So next month is Oxballs with the lovely Kim Hines. And then we will be canceling October Sex Ed U because we will be doing the virtual show. So keep an eye on the events tab on ecn.com and you can sign up for the virtual show. There will probably be a banner on the homepage as well. Just click it, sign up for the webinar, and then you will be signed up for all of them and you'll get reminders every Tuesday and Thursday to attend the event. So, Jack, any last words before we part ways here?
You will see me at the virtual show, so another
That is
reason to go.
correct.
Just more of me. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a lovely day.
Thank you for being amazing as always. Retail partners, have a great rest of your day and week, and we will see you at the next one. Take care, everybody.